Coming up in today's episode, Epic Games bends the knee to Google.
Xbox and Warner Brothers pull out gamers strong and leaves GeForce with blue balls.
That's nice, Open Sam. Very classy.
Thank you.
And the game about delivering packages is delayed. So your package containing the game will be delayed. It's Death Stranding and it's a joke about packages, guys. Please clap. Ladies and gentlemen, all this and more after the drop. Hey Sam.
Yes.
Remember Fortnite?
You mean that game that the Chinese people always cheat in it? Is that the one? Oh, that's PUBG. My bad.
That's PUBG, Sam. That's
PUBG.
the wrong game.
My bad.
Fortnite is the one that the kids play when the Roblox servers are down, okay? So Fortnite was a pretty big deal for a while, and it's still definitely the biggest of deals. It's actually the 4th most viewed game on Twitch still. It also makes plenty of cash. Last year, it made $1.8 billion, making it the highest grossing non-mobile specific game. So it's still doing okay.
I mean, $1.8 billion, by the way, is in US. If it was in dollary dues, that's like $400 billion Australian, okay?
That's right.
Now, there's a lot of money to be made there, that's for sure. Now, Fortnite used to be the most viewed game by a country mile, right? Now, it still made $1.8 billion, right? But that's still a 25% reduction in the monies that it has been making in the past. So, look, that is a huge change in terms of how popular Fortnite was only like last year. And I really think it's because there's a new big boy in town, okay? Now, you remember the whole Steam Epic Games thing? That was a huge fight. Get ready for Fortnite versus Valorant. So Epic needs now to make sure that it has a competitive edge because there are other people in town now, you know, so they really need to make sure that they stay pretty damn relevant.
One of the ways that they've tried to stay relevant is making sure their game was available on mobile platforms. So in the past, or in April 2018, Epic released Fortnite on the Apple Store, and very soon after that, they were releasing it on Android devices as well, but that was a little bit different. On the Apple Store, they had to release it there because you're not allowed to have any programs on an iPhone unless they're in the Apple Store, okay? So that's very clear. But it is possible to have games on Android devices if they aren't sold through the Google Play Store. You can do a thing called side loading, which allows them to be basically installed independent of Google's system, okay? So they did that because Tim Sweeny was really against the 30% cut that Google was going to take if they did sell it through the Google Play Store. They made the app available on that platform a while ago, and hasn't really worked out for him the way they would have liked.
And look, Tim Sweeney's overarching message has always been actually 30% too high. Epic Games is only actually taking 12% from developers, so he has actually put his money where his mouth is, and this is the actual quote. The 30% store tax is a high cost in a world where game developers 70% must cover all the costs of developing, operating, and supporting their games. It's true, you know, you've got to make the entire game and then you actually have to lose 30% from the get-go.
Sure, I agree. That's a point I'm sympathetic to. And as you've said, he did put his money where his mouth is with the Epic Games Store, which offers a much better split to developers when they sell through that storefront. So that's a good thing for them. He obviously tried to sidestep Google, thinking that he doesn't want to have to pay that 30%. He would like to keep all that money himself because he's made that product, or Epic Games has, and so why should Google get anything? Well, I guess it turns out that strategy wasn't a win because today Epic has announced that they are reversing that and they are going to be making Fortnite available on the Google Play Store. Quote, after 18 months of operating Fortnite on Android outside of the Google Play Store, we've come to a basic realization, reads Epic's statement. Google puts software downloadable outside of Google Play at a disadvantage. Through technical and business measures, such as scary repetitive security pop-ups for downloaded and updated software, restrictive manufacturer and carrier agreements and dealings, Google public relations characterizing third-party software sources as malware, and new efforts such as Google Play Protect to outright block software obtained outside the Google Play Store. Sounds like a pretty salty statement to me.
Yes.
Don't think there's much love lost there between Google and good old Tim Sweeny.
I don't think so at all. I have in the past downloaded external software, and I think I even downloaded Fortnite when it first came out, and he's right. There's a lot of like, are you sure you want to download this? Yeah. Oh, this could be, you know, this is a foreign entity, you know, this kind of crap like that. It is quite scary, especially if you're a bit of a layman like myself. a lot of people aren't going to go ahead with that. So there's a huge amount of people that, you know, especially kids and stuff, that might see that and go, oh, God, fuck, this is mum's phone. I don't want to do that. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of business that he would have lost from that.
Sure,
you know?
no, that's true. Look, that is true. So they have obviously reversed that decision now. You can go and download Fortnite on the Google Play Store. Tim Sweeny remains unbowed, though. His sentiments do not appear to have changed despite Epic's releasing Fortnite through the Play Store. Quote, we hope that Google will revise its policies and business dealings in the near future so that all developers are free to reach and engage in commerce with customers on Android and in the Play Store through open services, including payment services that can compete on a level playing field, concludes Epic's statement. I wouldn't hold your breath for that.
Yes.
The Google can go to war with the likes of Epic Games, one of the most popular games in the history of video games, and win. I don't think they're going to be changing their policies anytime soon. I think they'll keep their 30%.
Yeah, and look, I mean, it is kind of weird to see a service that just like gives someone the game, right? They take 30% of the revenue. But having said that, I understand also that, you know, if you create a storefront and there's a lot of traffic through it, you deserve a cut of that. It's a question of like what that cut actually is.
Yeah.
You know? I don't think it's 30%. Is it 12%? Maybe it's in the middle there. Who knows? Like Tim Sweeney's been great with his 12%. But again, 30%. Far too high, and as much as we don't like, you know, Epic Games and Fortnite or whatever, like they've done Epic Games good in what they're doing for developers.
I agree, and this is the thing, right? I am sympathetic to this argument that he's got 30%. Like, imagine spending like literally millions and millions, or hundreds of millions of dollars potentially on game development, all the risks that come with that over 5 or 6 years, all the marketing budget, all the everything, and then a company takes 30% of that for putting it on their storefront and making it available for downloads and handling the transaction. Do you know what I mean? Like, that doesn't feel right. And I know a lot of people in the comment section are going to come up with all this fucking bullshit, like defending the 30%. Like, I've seen all the math. I don't care. It just seems too high. Like, there's got to be a way to do that at a fairer amount. I'm not saying they shouldn't take anything. Surely they've got to take something. But 30% seems like a bit of a rort, right? So I do respect that part of Tim Sweeney's message, and hopefully that does get through and developers can end up getting a better cut.
Next story. Not main story, but we'll do the main story noise anyway. Xbox and Warner Brothers, everybody. Now, let's be real. Stadia is the best product that we've ever seen, okay?
Right.
All jokes aside, the worst product ever, right? Everyone hates it, and they've gone free.
Sam. Don't disrespect Fallout 76 like that, please. Show some proper respect. Come on, all right, let's continue.
Guys.
Let's continue.
Now, everyone knows that they're a steaming pile of shit, right? Now, everyone is not on board with Stadia at all, and we have seen a bigger and bigger trend where games are just moving away from GeForce Now, and people are getting pissed about it, everybody.
For sure.
And everyone was wondering, is it Stadia? Is it Stadia getting in these publishers' ears and these developers' ears going, hey, come over here to Stadia, we'll charge the consumer full price, baby.
Well, yeah, this is the thing, right? So if anyone doesn't know the background to this, Stadia comes out, you have to buy your games on Stadia. You can't use your existing game libraries. You have to buy them again to play them on there. And the service kind of sucks anyway. So look, we've covered that a million times before. Not going to talk about it again now. The sort of like, the great hope of the cloud streaming area is GeForce Now. Basically, it's a service that was in beta for years. It's released at a very reasonable price, and you can use your existing purchases, like your existing Steam library or whatever, without having to buy it again. You just access it because you're running like a virtual computer in the cloud that you can play games on. It's a brilliant system, and again, we don't have it in Australia yet, but all the user feedback has been super positive. Publishers hate it because it means they can't charge you twice for a game. And you've had the likes of Square Enix and Activision Blizzard and Bethesda all pulling their games off that platform. Even indie devs. Remember that the long dark
dark, yes, I remember that.
He threw some big tantrum on Twitter as well anyway. So basically, a lot of people don't like this because they want to be able to sell the game twice on multiple platforms, including on a cloud platform. And unfortunately, Microsoft and Warner Brothers have joined that group of companies today, announcing that they are removing their products from GeForce Now.
We're transitioning as many games to GeForce Now as possible over this time. For those leaving, we'll give gamers as much notice as possible. Games from Warner Brothers, Interactive Entertainment, Xbox Game Studios, Codemasters, and Clay?
Yeah,
is it Clay?
I think so.
I don't know either.
I don't know. Sure.
Guys, we don't know. Clay Entertainment will be removed from service on Friday, April 24th. We hope they'll return in the future. They're not coming back in the future, everybody. Just know that right now.
Not.
Why would they?
That's true. Look, this is a disappointing move, I think especially from Xbox, because they've made a lot of really pro-consumer moves this generation, really positioning themselves quite strongly on that front. At the same time, they are investing a lot of money in their own cloud streaming platform called Project xCloud. So I do see both sides of this for when it comes to Xbox, but at the same time, I don't really think it would have hurt Xbox much if they also had this stuff available on like the other platform. Like I really don't think that it's going to materially impact their business and stop Xbox or Project xCloud from being successful if you can play the Master Chief Collection on like NVIDIA GeForce Now. So I don't like this move. I don't think they should have done it. I think it's unnecessary, and I think it really flies in the face of that consumer centricity that Xbox has been doing such a good job over the last few months.
I agree with that. I definitely think, but if there was any company that had a legitimate case for, you know, taking it off, I'm not saying I'm a fan of it, but they have invested a lot. And they're just about to release it, and they want to make sure they get, you know, the biggest impact as possible. And I still feel like Xbox is still being pro-consumer in terms of if you've already bought the game, you don't have to buy it again on their store. You're just paying the monthly subscription to use the service. So in that regard, it's still being pro-consumer. But again, it is kind of shitty to know that it's not on GeForce Now. But Warner Brothers, man, they've always been a bit scummy, all right?
Warner Brothers is always scummy, man. They're just so scummy, that company. Like, fuck, just don't even get me started on them. This is an unsurprising move from Warner Brothers, let's just say that. But, you know, Xbox, you broke our hearts, Xbox. We expected
you broke
better.
our heart.
I have to take my Phil poster down from the wall. Wait, that's a Metal Gear poster. Ignore that.
Yes, sure.
Editor, make sure that's a Phil poster by the time this video is edited. Yeah, let's do that. Next story, finally, very quickly, Death Stranding. It's coming to PC. It was announced last year that it would be coming to PC. Everyone was very excited about that because if there's one thing that everybody can agree on, it's that Death Stranding is a masterpiece of a video game. No one has a different opinion on that. Everyone agrees it's probably the greatest game ever made. Am I right, Sam?
I think the Metacritic speaks for itself. It's just one of those games that everybody loves. It's like Ocarina of Time, ultimately, where everyone... if you say anything bad about it, you're ultimately an idiot. I think that's kind of the general consensus out there, guys. But Death Stranding, everyone's really excited about it, okay? Now, if you remember before it even came out on PS4, Kojima was like, surprise, it's coming to PC, before it even came out on PlayStation, right? I wonder if that cost PlayStation a lot of sales. Maybe it did.
Yep, I'm sure it would have. I'm sure it would have. It was originally slated to release on June 2nd on PC. It was come to the Epic Game Store and also to Steam, but now it has been pushed back until, drum roll please, while I click on the link and I wait for it to see
June 2nd.
July 14. July 14. It's coming out now, guys. Right. Good work, Sam. Thanks very much.
I was reading the notes. My bad.
July 14 is when you can expect Death Stranding, and it's also going to have native 4K and ultra wide support, which is going to be pretty nice to play that game on ultra wide. Can I say that'll be quite a thrill? But anyway, what a thrill. Anyway, that's the end of the episode, guys, and my little Snake Eater song there makes it the perfect outro video excuse.
If it's not copyrighted,
I gave my life not for honor, but for you.
But for copyright. Okay, guys, goodbye.